check. All right, I got some sound, and that is what I had for lunch. The good old Sung Some Soon Like Fun on the first floor of this building, which has a lot of food. A lot of food in this building, so it's a food building. Quite common in Hong Kong to have a little building just for food. Right. A lot of delicious food. That's not the restaurant, that's a different one, which I also like. But yeah, we are in Mong Kok, next to the city cinema, Langham Place Cinema. One of the first architectural jobs I ever did, actually, for Alexander. He's also on this channel. We went to India together. So here we go. This is one of the first architecture jobs. Got a lot more coming. Just shot a new hotel, and you should check out some of his work. He does a lot of mostly interiors, but like really luxury and very classy looking, very high-end looking. So that's pretty cool. But welcome to my test practice channel. It's a diary channel as well. One of the main things I want to do on this channel is to practice being comfortable in front of camera, which is, it never was a natural thing for me, but I decided I'd just do a lot more and get better at it. In fact, this channel started off with me doing a video every day where I was testing new things, and I was semi-new to video. I'd already shot a short film, but I wanted to just do more of it. I played with green screens and got to do a bit more YouTube stuff, and then yeah, I think it's been going for 6 years, this channel. I take long breaks, but then I rediscover my love for video, also for blogging and stuff, especially because I got the new camera, the A7 Mark IV, which is a great little camera. It's their entry-level full-frame mirrors, I guess. You could call the A7C their actual entry-level, but this one is the basic normal, because that one doesn't have the viewfinder. It doesn't have the little like look through the eyepiece thing. This one does. It's their basic model, and it's pretty damn good. I used to shoot on the A7Rs. I had the 1, 2, and the 3. Skipped the 4 because I didn't see any point in getting the 4 because it was pretty much the same. The 4 just has a better body, but the image quality, well, the A7R Mark III and the 2 had the same exact sensor, and so I think the 4 had, I'm not sure. I looked at the reviews, and it didn't seem to be worth getting for you know, a little bit. Oh no! It has a different sensor. It's got the really big sensor. I think it's like 60 megapixel. The reason I didn't get it is because I don't need more megapixels. I already got, I think it was 45 on the A7 III and the A7. So what am I saying? The A7R Mark II and the 3, they have the same sensor. It's about 45 megapixel or something like that. It's way enough. I shoot a lot of events for work, and I don't need more megapixels. In fact, I want less. It's another reason I got this camera, so I can have less megapixel, because usually when I export files to clients, I'm only sending them like 30 megapixel files. They are 30 megapixels from a 45 megapixel camera, so they are a very, very sharp 30 megapixels, or 25 sometimes I send, depending on what I think they'll need the files for. Sometimes I just send them on in WhatsApp, and that like completely crushes all the detail. Good stabilisation test on the stairs, by the way, on the 16mm. I find that 80% is pretty good on this lens, and this seems to work quite well. I am on the way to the Sony Store to pick up my A7R Mark II body and my 24 to 70 f2.8 G Master lens, which I'm thinking of selling and getting the Tamron, because I want something a bit lighter, and it depends what price I can get for it. I mean, you lose a lot of money when you and you buy new when you sell secondhand. But I just got upset that that lens. It's like the L series if you're a Canon user. It's like the best of the best Sony lenses. Like broke in like, I bought it in 2019. Broke. Need a repair. Very expensive repair, almost $6,000 Hong Kong. That's like 1,000 Australian dollars to fix a lens. I think it's like the quarter of the price or something. It's a really expensive lens. And it's really heavy, and well, the image quality is good. It's just really heavy and really big and bulky. So I wouldn't mind downgrading to the Tamron, because it's much lighter. If I can save a bit of money and buy another lens. And the other reason is, and it's a main factor, is unless it's a job, I actually found that I don't like bringing that lens out because it's just, I got some neck issues and back issues. Good thing I have a good friend who's a chiropractor. He's helping me out. But I just don't want to lug around this really heavy lens when you don't need like super sharpness. If you, I mean, sometimes, well, it's a good thing. It's not, I'm not saying sharpness is a bad thing, but the Tamron is slightly less sharper. Probably stop down, it's probably about the same. I don't know, you have to check some reviews. But yeah, I just wasn't bringing that lens around. It's just a really heavy lens. Not having fun with it. I have the F4 of the same focal length. Also a Sony Zeiss one. I'd bring that around, but it's a bit slower. And sometimes that extra stop from the 2.8 to 4 is actually, oh, I'm on the wrong station, aren't I? Yes. I'm not very good at multitasking. I always get distracted. This always keeps falling down. It's very itchy on the nose, but this cloth one is not as itchy. Probably not even focused now because it's on, I'm so close. Okay, it's kind of awkward to hold, but I'm just cupping the lens kind of like that. Well, what was I talking about? Yeah, that 2.8 is actually from F4. That in low light, that extra stop does actually help a lot because it's double your light. It's one stop, it's double. You can get a lower ISO, or you can shoot in situations where if you had the F4 in a low light situation, it'd just be really grainy. You're kind of pushing the balance between the motion blur. You know, you don't want it to be shaky or have motion blur, and how much ISO, how much noise you're going to get in it. So the 2.8 does help. I also have some primes, but I love zooms. I tend to shoot events with zooms more because it actually lets you capture more moments, because just being able to go from wide angle to something medium, like the 70mm, it's actually quite useful. You zoom in, get a shot, and then zoom back out. I'll usually bring a 24 prime as well, because sometimes the light is so low, you really want to, you really need, you know, an F2 or something. But the other thing is when you're shooting groups of people in a low light environment, and we're talking about events, like party kind of shots, people, you're using the flash, but you need to get the ambient light in, and 2.8, when you have a group, is a little soft if people are not level, so yeah, it's all a bit of a balance and trade-off, isn't it? Anyway, we're going to Causeway Bay to pick up my equipment and test out some lenses while I'm there. We're in Mong Kok, and got to go from Mong Kok, Yamate, Jordan, Chim Sa Cho, and then Admiralty. And Admiralty, well, that's the red line. Jump on the blue line and then go Wan Chai to Causeway Bay. Then we'll get to the Sony Store. Somewhat annoyingly and incidentally, Sony actually have a main shop in, like a proper Sony shop in Mong Kok. It's like an official shop, like the kind of like the official. You have an official Apple store, but unlike Apple, you can't pick up or drop off repairs. Well, in Hong Kong, you can't. You have to go to Causeway Bay to pick up repairs. So that means I got to go to. Even though I live like a few minutes away from the Sony store, I got to go all the way to Causeway Bay to pick up these broken camera bodies and lenses after they visited the Sony hospital, aka the repair center. So yeah, that's it's going to take a little bit of a trip, but good thing we have a stabilized vlogging camera thanks to Sony in-body gyro data. I think it's great, and this at the moment is probably the optimal setup that I have for it. Got the F4. It's is it a Zeiss? Yes, it's a Zeiss. It's an early Zeiss that came out when the Sony's first came out. One of the first FE lenses, the full frame Sony lenses. The Zeiss 16-35 ZAOSS, and it's in F4. But I do want something a little bit wider for blogging, but I don't know if I want to spend the money for it. It's going to cost me a, wow, 15,000 Hong Kong? Can't remember. So many numbers and letters in these names in these lenses and stuff. But anyway, it's going to cost me a lot of money to get that little bit more wide angle, because I'm already on 16mm on this lens. I want to go from 16 to 12, which is quite a bit of a jump. 12 from 16. It's a few steps, but do I really want to pay like thousands of dollars for that step? I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to test it out. I'm also going to test out the APS-C lens. It's an f4 10 to 18 APS-C, so it's for the reduced frame. But I want to see if it can work on a full frame body and have gyro data. It may not have gyro data. It will work on the full frame body. It's a little soft around the edges. People have been testing it out. On 12mm to around 16, you don't get too much vignetting, so it's somewhat usable. And you know what? I don't even mind the vignetting and softness around the edges if it gives it wide enough. It's kind of a vintage lens look, but you do kind of need most of that edge area for stabilization. But anyway, that's why I'm going to test it, since I've got to go there and pick up my my cameras and swipe my credit card to pay for these expensive repairs, which I'm not very happy about, because they shouldn't break so easily. I didn't really use these the body or the lens that much. Lightly used. Had the lens for 3 years. Fair enough, but you know, I guess things do break, especially if you're using them professionally. But it's not nice when you don't use them that much, and they still break, and they cost so much to fix. It's a quarter of the price of the lens. That being said, it is a quarter of the new price, so I thought I better, even if I want to sell it, it's worth repairing. I don't want to just chuck it in the bin. It's worth repairing and then selling it second hand, and possibly getting the Tamron or maybe the Sigma 28 to 70. One of those, the 2.8s. So yeah, I'll have a look at them and have a look at the pricing in Hong Kong. That may be on the way back. And see if I want to downgrade my lens, or maybe I'll keep it, because sometimes the weight's not an issue if you're shooting in studio, or you know, you're not. Yeah, if you're shooting in studio, or you're not bringing that many lenses, it doesn't matter if one lens is slightly big and heavy, especially if it's your main lens. But yeah, if you like to bring a lot of lenses and backup lenses to shoots, then you probably want something a bit lighter. Depends on your needs. I also don't like lugging around too much equipment, especially when I am carrying backups. So yeah, it's a bit to consider, but I am thinking about getting a lighter 2.8 zoom. And also, Tamron have a very interesting, like, medium to short tele lens, which is the 35 to 150, and it's a variable aperture. But I actually couldn't believe it when I first heard about it. It starts at f2, and then it goes to 2.8. So it's actually quite a fast lens on the wider part. The 35 to around 50 is quite, you know, it's f2, 2.2, 2.4, something like that. That's quite fast, faster than 2.8. Gives you like an extra stop or half stop, roughly. So very interesting. It's a little heavy though. That is one of my concerns. But yeah, maybe I could sell off some of my lenses and upgrade. I always like to keep new bodies and new lenses and upgrade my equipment because I am doing it professionally, and I want to be able to deliver good results and have good equipment. It's really important. All right, let's see where we're at. By the way, it is, let's see if we can see that. It is Monday 3rd of January 2022. Happy New Year. It is 4:21 in the afternoon. It's quite a full looking train. Nice little stabilized lens. Admiralty next stop, so I'm going to get on to Admiralty and change to the blue line, and then jump over to Causeway Bay there. And I'm exiting from this side. So yeah, soon we will see the station. Soon. All right, I can get to the window now. Exit this side. All right, so this is the exit. They make little covers you can put if you're shooting against glass. You can kind of like reduce the reflections. Something you should know if you want to shoot against glass, like a little silicone thing. Good thing to know. If you ever want to shoot against glass, maybe you're shooting outside a window, you want to shoot a city scene or something. Here we go. Oh, one thing I should also mention is you can see the lines on this particular camera are like that. See the motion? And a bit of jello effect as well when I move it, because this camera body actually has the slower readout sensor. It's a bit of a problem on the bigger sensors. The bigger sensors have to read out a lot of data on the sensor frame. It's a big frame, and it kind of scans it. So it kind of scans it like that. So when you've got something moving, it will scan it, but it's moving along. So it will create this edge effect. If you get one of the higher end bodies, such as I believe it's the A7R III, has a faster readout. I think it does because it's got the megapixels on that. It's got less sensors. And also the Sony A7, the Sony A1. Yes, I am. You want to be on camera? Oh, you don't? All right. Doing a little blog on my test channel.
Really?
Yeah, talking about cameras.
I want to say hi.
Oh, hi. You can follow me on YouTube if you want.
Yeah.
What channel do you have?
It's called Josh's Video Diary. Yeah. All right, you're the second person to follow me when I've been blogging around Hong Kong. All right, let's show people how to get there. Go to YouTube.
Yeah, but I don't have Wi-Fi somewhere.
Oh, you don't? Oh, you have to remember Josh's Video Diary then.
What's the name again?
Josh's Video Diary. Video. Is the right train? Yes, Causeway. Yeah, that should find it. Yeah, that's it. All right. And you'll be like the 130th follower. So no one watches it.
How many subscribers?
Like 130, I think.
My brother, he has 113.
Really? He's got more than me, I think.
No.
Although I forget how many I actually have because I don't really check.
Let's see if I can connect them.
You check your comments. You check the comments.
Yeah, but you can't connect now. Well, while you're at it, you can check out my other channel. I've got a main channel too.
What is this?
But
The JoJo Siwa?
no one watches it either. It's really sad. But if you go back to your text pad, you can check out Juice. It's my other channel, which is my main one. So go to next. Now it's Josh with 3 O's. Jooo. No. There's 2 channels. So go to next line. Yeah. You see that? Yeah. And look for my face. And I sing and I dance about COVID. It's really tacky. Do you know what tacky means?
Yeah.
It's really tacky. It's really, what do they call it? What am I trying to say? Cringy. Cringy. You know what cringy means? What does cringy mean?
Cringy means that it's awkward.
I don't know.
Awkward. Yes, you're right.
Very awkward.
Yeah, my whole channel is like that. But have a look and say hi to me.
Hi.
I'm on the channel, but also here. All right.
You have an editor?
Oh, what?
You edit your videos?
Yeah, I do. Well, not this one. This one's just me practicing being on camera because it's really awkward. All right. Bye, guys. Have a nice day. All right. Someone else added me last time I was blogging. Beth. So, hi, Beth. Sorry, that video is really shaky because it was still figuring out the stabilisation settings. Using the fisheye lens and then
Please stand back from
the doors and working out that Sony don't stabilize fisheye lenses very well, which they should fix because no reason they couldn't. They just need to account for the curvature of the lens.
Please stand back from the train
Yeah,
door.
probably, hopefully they can do that in another firmware. I might be the one to remind them to do that. Anyway, next up is Causeway, and yeah, I'm kind of getting used to blogging on the subway and stuff. People kind of leave you alone. Oh, I can't switch off. The annoying thing is I can't black out the back of the screen because I want to flip it. Actually, I probably can, but I have to record again. I can flip it and then hit record. It'll probably work, but I want to turn it off so people. It's a bit more stealth, although very loud. I'll wait for it.
Next station, Causeway Bay.
Causeway Bay. Doors will open from the left, which is this exit. Not very stealth because this camera is huge. If you want to do a stealth, just use a phone or one of the Insta cameras I would recommend if they don't overheat. The Go 2 overheats. Don't know how long you can talk for on the Insta 360 proper 360 cameras because the Go 2 isn't actually a 360 camera. I call it a 180. It's a little confusing, yes. All right. There we go.
请小心月台空隙，请小心月台的空隙。Please mind the gap.
Mind the gap. We're getting off and Causeway Bay. We are on the MTR in Hong Kong. Look how full it is. All right. Oh man. Actually, not this place. Hong Kong is usually even more full, but not too bad today at this time. At 4 o'clock. 4:30 on a Monday, so a little less people. But yeah, Hong Kong. What an interesting place. Although there are things I can't say anymore because of certain national security laws, so I won't. All right. Very nice tunnel. Walking at normal speed. Actually, I should slow down because we want to test the gimbal smoothness. So I'll walk at a slower speed. If I were like stabilizing on a gimbal or something, I'd probably be doing this kind of speed. Yeah. I'll probably put the unstabilized original version in a little thumbnail on the top left again. I think that's quite good, so you can actually see what it's doing. And because I am traveling a lot, moving from one side of Hong Kong, Kowloon, to Hong Kong Island, and going to the Sony shop in Causeway Bay. Yeah, quite a bit of travel on foot. Quite a good way to just test out the stabilisation. All right. Quite modern when you see TV screens on, you know. It reminds me of like Shibuya in Japan, where they have, you know, a lot of glow from TV screens and stuff. Hong Kong has always been, well, the busy parts of Hong Kong have always had that kind of stuff. I used to live in Causeway Bay, incidentally, so I quite know my way around. We are here, we're going to exit D, and then, sorry, what am I saying, exit E. Exit E, and then we're going to go, oh, lost. Used to live here, I think. There's a very famous circular pedestrian walkway, which is in a few movies, including, what's it called? That one with the Charlize Theron? The Ghost in the Shell. Ah, look at this band from the fast shutter speed. If I change that to 100, there it goes. Now it's on 100. Well, actually, you know what? Before it was on 200th, I will leave it at 100th of a second for now, and just see how much that impacts the stabilization, because you don't want it to have that blurry frame when there's a shock, which is why I've set the shutter speed to, well, not the shutter speed's at 25, but is it shutter speed? I don't know, 100th of a second. It's 25p. That should be the shutter speed, I think, the frame rate. The shutter is at 100th and the frame is 25, yes. And also we're shooting at 442 10-bit on XAVC 4K, if you wanted to know. And we had to turn off the stabilization because, yeah, the gyro stabilization will stabilize the whole entire camera. It's the data, so the camera knows how the camera is moving, and it can counteract that by shifting the image, like shifting it. If I move that way, it would move it that way. But if you've got the IS and image stabilization on, the lens has an element that will shake and counteract any movement, as well as the chip will also move. It's 5 axis, so I can do this, and like you can do this, 1 axis, 2 axis, 3 axis. Actually, it's 5 axis stabilization. So, what are the 2 other axes? I don't know. But yeah, probably should go and look at the website and see if I can figure that out. All right, Causeway Bay. Here we are. Heading to exit E. All right, welcome to the MTR. Put my money in. Got 758 Hong Kong dollars still in it, which is quite a lot of money to put in, people say. But mine doesn't actually top up by itself. So I got to withdraw money from an ATM, put cash in. So I put a lot in because it's really annoying when you try to catch a bus and it doesn't have any money, and then you can't have to get off the bus, top it up, and catch the next one, which will probably come in 15 minutes. And what a waste of time. All right. By the way, I quite like the gyro stabilization. It's great for blogging. I think if you're doing pro work, then you probably want the stabilizer still. But for YouTube stuff, I think you can get away with this. More than that, it's really good. Don't have to carry that gimbal, and it's easier to flip the camera around, film my face, and then film what I'm looking at, which is the matrix adjust the Matrix what is it? Resurrections movie poster, which I heard isn't that good. Which is a pity because in my books, The Matrix is the greatest movie of all human life on Earth. I mean, all time. The best movie that humans have ever created, according to me. It will help you rethink your perspective on life and all this stuff about consciousness and reality. And I find that stuff really fascinating. Not everyone does though. Also, the special effects are pretty cool. Helps you get the special effects and the action helps you get into the story. If it didn't have that, it wouldn't be half as interesting. So that helps a lot. Anyway, let me film some of this. We are at Causeway Bay Station, exit E. That, if you ever come to Hong Kong, is how you find your way to MTR stations. Look for that MTR logo as the MTR sign. We are at Causeway Bay. It's kind of like the shopping area of Hong Kong. A lot of stores. In fact, this little crossing here is analogous to the Shibuya. Can't pronounce it, but I mentioned it before. That crossing in Japan that's really famous. Sogo here is a shopping mall. What's it called? Department store. It's a department store. They have some big sales, and a lot of people come here during the sales. Well, in general, I mean, we are in the middle of a pandemic, so it's a little less quiet. Used to get a lot of people from mainland China to shop here, apparently because they trust Hong Kong goods and they're not as fake. Oh, here we go. We can cross, but we're not going to cross because we don't need to cross. I'll just do a slow walk, gimbal style walk. It's kind of like a mini Tokyo one, which is quite cool. I filmed a few things here before. I filmed a little test music video here as well for Jeff Anello, so that's kind of cool. Let's get a good frame on that. All right. And Hyson Place. That's another mall. Got a delivery guy, and yeah, that is the crossing. All right. Anyway, we're quite close to the Sony store now, so almost made it. Sogo. It's part of this Sogo building, but it's not actually Sogo. It's East Point Center, which Sogo is in. It's, yeah, anyway. A lot of buildings. We go in here, the entry. And 16th floor, I'm not going to zoom up because I'm going to catch this lift. 16. Sony, there you go, Sony. Whoops. Alright, so once I get up there, I'll probably cut the video and then do a new one. And then we can try out some lenses and get my equipment back and pay them a lot of money to fix it for the hospital bill. Bit sad, don't get much work these days because of COVID, but well, doing what I can to survive. Here we go, Sony. All right, look at this branding, Sony A7 IV. This is what I'm shooting on. What a nice camera, indeed. E-mount. Never stay basic. Never stay basic. It's in Chinese, so I can't read it, but yeah, Sony A7, something full frame, something 3300, Bions XR, and 8 something. All right, fight the virus, check my temperature,
Normal temperature.
and we'll test out some of the lenses later, but first I've got to go pick up my stuff. We'll play with those a bit later. And want one of these lenses. Oh, that's the new version, 2.8 GM. Anyway, quite a lot of gear here to play with. But I want to get my body first. I'm going to go pick up a ticket. Bit of a waiting line. All right. So I can actually do Sony Imaging Pro support because I am one of their Pro members. But I can actually pick up repaired items as well. So I might get both. Is that a bit sneaky to get both and go to the first one? Yeah, probably. But well, probably won't make a difference. I'm next in line after whatever queue they have. However, they do have their own like little Pro support window here. See, Pro support. So maybe I get priority. I don't know. Well, when you give them all your money, I guess they treat you a bit better, or slightly better. You have to wait slightly less. Okay. D4 and B19. Oh, it's not too far away. That's B18. Where's D up to? Oh, next one. Pretty much the next one, whichever they call. Cool. I guess these guys are just waiting for pickup. I don't know. Anyway, we're at the main Sony store. It's actually not that big. Hong Kong's not that big. And let's see if we can find the lenses that I want. Not here. These are RX series. What are these? Oh, yeah, I want to test this one out. This is the APS-C, but it's a 10mm, so I want to see if that can stabilize. If I can get the gyro data for this lens, it is this one here. Kind of expensive. For an APS-C lens. It will actually be the first APS-C lens I've ever bought, if I do get it. Always been full frame. Because I've always done photography for like work, so I've always gone for the higher quality. Just going to test that. And that's probably APS-C. And where's all the wides? 14mm prime. $20mm. I think it's one of these. Anyway. Is that it? No. Is that it? Maybe they don't sell it anymore. B19. Alright, well, since we're waiting, I'll take out my paperwork. Actually, it doesn't have the quotation, so not much point. Anyway, this is getting kind of boring, so I might cut it here and then go into the next video where I do some tests with the lenses. Alright, so yeah, thanks for watching my practice blog, and come check out the next video where I test some lenses. Yay!